In 93 years of sprinting at the Summer Olympics, no woman has run faster than ELAINE Thompson did when she landed gold earlier today at the Tokyo Games. This woman, absolutely amazing. And it's still taking a while to digest this huge helping of success, this huge helping of wow, this huge helping of amazement served up, not just by ELAINE Thompson, but by the other two Jamaican women who followed her home, 2 and 3, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Shericka Jackson, making it a Jamaica 1, 2, 3. The world is still talking about what those 3 women did inside that Olympic Stadium a few hours earlier. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good night, maybe. My name is George Davis. This is Tokyo Prime, the evening edition, and it is with pleasure that I sit here and a measure of pride talking about the games of the 32nd Olympiad and what we have seen so far, and of course we salivate at the prospect of what is to come. Well, Donald Oliver has been busy preparing a perspective on ELAINE Thompson's gold medal run earlier in Tokyo.
The rarest phenomenon in sprinting happened at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, when Jamaica took the spots available on the podium in the women's 200 meters. Shelly-Ann Fraser at the time led Jamaica's 1-2.
All right, we're gonna come back. We're gonna restart that feature for you. Just had a little demon creeping in right there, but nonetheless, we're gonna get it right, and we're gonna give it to you. Let me turn now to the women who are on the stage with me on the set here at our location. Pauline Davis Thompson is with me, and so too is ELAINE Bailey. ELAINE, I heard you this morning. You wouldn't mind if I give Pauline a crack at talking about that fantastic occasion this morning. The occasion of the women's 100 meters final. Pauline, those women were catching birds.
Wow, it was just so amazing. As I watched these 3 beautiful black women from Jamaica and the Caribbean at large blaze that track, it was just so fantastic. It was so awesome. I mean, they did so well. I had to take a pause myself too. I'm like, wow, it was just phenomenal. That's the word I have for it. It was simply phenomenal, George.
People have been talking about 1, 2, 3 all week and even before. 10:61, well, was the winner the person you thought that would have won it?
Most definitely. Yeah. I saw it. I called it. I said, ELAINE looks the best. I remember when you had asked me the question, I said, ELAINE looked the best because in the heats, she jogged like she ran like 30 meters and she jogged the rest of the way. And I'm like, whoa, my goodness. And the fact that ELAINE is a little bit taller than some of the other athletes, as I mentioned, height tend to be a little bit beneficial for most sprinters. And I just knew that in my mind and in my head, I knew that Jamaica was going to have this sweep. It was bound to happen unless somebody messed up or something like that. But it was just so it was just so amazing to see. I am still so thrilled. I mean, the hair is still standing up on my whole entire body, George, from what happened with those 3 amazing Jamaican young ladies.
I hear that our feature is ready, but I have to give ELAINE a chance to comment here. ELAINE, have you recovered from the hangover of that huge helping of glory and success this morning?
Still drunk. Felt like I drank a shot of local rum. Yeah. Yeah, still in shock, but still proud and happy that we were able to pull it off. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's go back to Donald Oliver's feature, putting into perspective the women's 100 meters final, starring the Jamaicans.
The rarest phenomenon in sprinting happened at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, when Jamaica took the spots available on the podium in the women's 200 meters. Shelly-Ann Fraser at the time led Jamaica's 1-2-2 as Karen Stewart and Sharon Simpson received silver medals. 13 years later, the island nation, the sprinting capital of the world, has taken the headlines once more. 1, 2, 3.
Like a shot out of a gun. Price is up quickly. Thompson Hera trying to test her. Thompson. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Thompson pulls clear. Thompson Hera wins. 10.60. Olympic record. Wow. Price Thompson Hera finds the late race speed to pull clear and retains her title.
Wyoming Tyres, Gail Devers, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, you now have company.
And she comes and becomes the 4th woman in history to repeat as the Olympic 100 champion, and she becomes the fastest woman in the history of the Olympic Games.
Since winning that gold in Rio 2016, Thompson Hera's name has been in the mouth of skeptics. Now, vindication.
5 years of being second fiddle, 5 years of not getting it right, 5 years of struggling with injuries, 5 years of losing confidence and being uncertain as what was to be next.
It's a journey which began without even a hint of glory at the junior level.
I've never been to a career stop. I've never been to a pen release, so I didn't see myself in a history book or creating history.
Thompson Hera, however, will keep climbing, and her eyes are firmly set on achieving even more. In the same race, another legendary story. Even if it's not the end of a stunning track career as yet, Fraser-Pryce is convinced of one thing: she has achieved. Does it matter if you win your last race?
If it matters, no. I think I've already won. For me, my biggest story for me was, could I come back and win a championship after having a baby? And I've done that. So it doesn't matter what happens from here on.
Revered by many as the greatest female sprinter of all time, she now has 2 gold medals, a bronze, and now a silver over 100 meters at the Olympics. And then, of course, the surprise package of all surprise packages this season, Shericka Jackson, with the fastest bronze medal in Olympic history, a personal best time of 10.76 seconds. This is history. This is modernity. This is their Olympics.
Top work from Donald Oliver there to get that together. And if I may riff on the Olympic theme, stronger, faster together. The Jamaican women in that 100 meters final were stronger. They were faster, and together they will stand on the medal podium. I put this to you, ELAINE Bailey. You know what it's like at the top level. When you are a seasoned campaigner, you're never 100% fit going into any race. You're 100% fit when you're in your teens, in high school maybe, but when you have to be a hardened professional, there's always something that you're nursing. ELAINE Thompson Hera has had an Achilles injury for a long time that has been bothering her. It has significantly affected her at certain championships. She's been managing it. She spoke immediately after the first round heat at these games to say, well, it's still an issue, but I'm managing it well, and it has been cooperating with me so far at these games. To be able to have that in the background and produce an Olympic record of 10.61 on the biggest stage, under the biggest pressure, in the biggest race of her life, speaks to the character of the woman.
It is, and it's the mental toughness that she developed over the years, because you know you can allow the pain to like keep you down, but you can always like figure out a way how to manage it and work with it. And I'm pretty sure that her therapist, physical therapist that was there with her, made sure she was able to manage the pain. And there's ways to keep her off the foot. I'm pretty sure when she was training, trying to find a way to make sure that she's not always applying force and pressure on that Achilles tendon, because that's like the worst injury to have. And for her to come out and still going through the little pain, because once you get hurt, like mentally it messes you up. Because every little thing you feel is like, even if it's not pain, you think that it's going to happen again. And for her to be able to run that well with that in the back of her head, that shows true strength and mental toughness.
Yeah, absolutely tough, Pauline, to be able to nurse that kind of situation and still be able to perform at this level.
You're so right. You're so right, George. It is. For her to be able to have nursed an Achilles, getting an Achilles injury is one of the worst injuries you could get in the sports of track and field. And the fact that she's able to overcome that and to repeat and become an Olympic champion again 5 years later tells you what type of woman she is and tell you about her mental toughness. It takes a whole lot of mental strength to be able to overcome, first of all, to overcome any type of injury, any type of sport injury is tough. But one like an Achilles injury, shows that Elaine has a lot of mental strength.
Absolutely so. Lance Whitaker, the man whose voice provides a soundtrack to so many pieces of history, is also with us. Lance, after the trials, the national trials, and the place was buzzing with what Mommy Rocket did, and there were some people who are less than sage in their commentary on track and field who were suggesting that, yeah, ELAINE Thompson was being hyped up by the coach, but she was a busted flush in some respects. There were many people, you included, who said, no, she wasn't being trained to peak at the trials. You felt that she was being programmed to deliver a capital effort at the Olympics. And Lance, it wasn't a capital effort in a letter, it was a whole capitalized alphabet from ELAINE Thompson-Herah. Greatness is what we witnessed this morning.
It's the best race she has ever run in her life, George, and because of the build-up and the sort of quality and assurance that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce delivers at this big stage, you would never be sure if ELAINE Thompson would have won today because of Shelly-Ann's composure and ability to deliver on these moments. But she was in top form. Remember that her coach, Stephen Francis, had told us in June that she's in the best shape of her life. And we saw that this morning. It was tremendous. The best I've ever seen her.
Yeah. On commentary, Lance, you noted that Fraser-Pryce was out quickly. But at about halfway, at the point where we had expected a gap between Shelly and Fraser-Pryce and the rest of the field, that gap wasn't there because Elaine's start was also good. And by the time she dropped the hammer, Lance, the separation occurred, and you could prepare to bring a climactic end to the greatest Olympic 100 meters final for women we've ever seen.
Yes, the fact is that the two titles that Shelly-Ann Fraser has won at the Olympic Games before saw her bullet start, projecting her to take control early. In Beijing, she was well ahead after 50, 60 meters. Karen Stewart and Sharon Simpson just couldn't get close to her. In London, they were a little close to her at 60 or 70, but she had gained such a momentum in the first 50 or 60 meters of the race, and with her tenacity, she was able to hold them off. But this morning was different, George, because at the 50-meter mark, Elaine was half a step behind her and traveling confidently. That is the point I want to make here, because we have seen where ELAINE Thompson in the past has been in situations where she has been a little bit behind and somehow her technique defeats her. But this morning she was confident, she remained composed, and at 60, 70 meters she challenged successfully and sprinted off to what was in the end a very, very easy win.
On the point of technical issues, Lance, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce commented after the run that, you know, she had a few mishaps during the race, a few technical, a few mistakes during the race. One of them, the third step, she said she stuttered on the third step, something that was spotted by Aileen Bailey on the first replay after the race was run. The fact is that despite those issues, Mommy Rocket, as she calls herself, lost no marks in defeat, I'm suggesting, my friend.
No, I don't think she did. You know, 10:74, George, is a very fast time. There are many, many Olympic Games at 10:74 would have been a gold medal performance. So it is obvious that she didn't get the commanding advantage early in the race that she would have needed to beat what ELAINE Thompson delivered this morning. But she lost no marks in defeat. She's 34 years old. She still has the 200 meters to come. I don't know what her mindset is, but we know how tenacious Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is, and we could very well have another big showdown in the 200 meters.
Yeah, a word on Shericka Jackson, Lance, because much has been made of her conversion from a quarter miler to a 100 meters bronze medalist. And people say, yeah, well, you forget that she used to sprint as a high schooler. People used to do various things at high school. They used to jump, throw, do everything. But as a professional, when you are on a certain path, her reputation before now, the world knew her as a dynamite quarter miler. Her transformation in one Olympic cycle, Lance, from a 400 meters bronze medalist in Rio to a 100 meters bronze medalist in Tokyo, it's stunning.
Yeah, but there was a hint of it, George, at the 2019 Worlds in Doha, because she was on the sprint relay team that won gold, and she showed a lot of zip on that evening. So it was a case of her recapturing, or just reminding us that that high school speed that she had delivered is still there. It's just for the coach to bring it out when he wants to.
The fact of greatness, Lance, of the nation Jamaica I'm talking about, and the Caribbean by extension, because this is where we are. We are one people. This could have easily been, I think, a Bahamian trio standing on that medal podium to collect their medals. The fact of a country doing it once, Whitaker, 3 women on the medal podium, and doing it so soon afterwards again and in this fashion, it tells you something about the depth of quality where sprinting is concerned in this small part of the world.
Yeah, you know what, George? I think what is being displayed here is the depth of the Jamaican sprinting talent and the sort of quality that lies right here in the Caribbean, because while Usain Bolt reigned between 2008 and 2017 when he retired, there were times that the women were a bit overshadowed. But if you looked at their performances and their results and what they were putting down on the track, they were right there delivering medals after medals after medals for their fans. So now that Bolt is gone, it has propelled them into the limelight, a limelight that they should have been in the first place. Remember, the last 12 medals delivered in the Olympic Games, 2008, 2012, 2016, and now 2021, of the 12 medals in the 100 meters, 10 of them have been won by Jamaican athletes, and this was during the Usain Bolt period. So it's just an illustration for me today that these women have always been fantastic, but because Bolt was who he is, there were times they were a little bit under the radar and not up front and center as Usain was.
Absolutely so. Tom Sahara, Fraser Price, Jackson, in that order. Jamaica, 1, 2, 3, and the place, the world, is still buzzing. We break here on Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. Back with more after these. ELAINE Thompson-Herah had a race with history and destiny in the lanes beside her. She beat both of them and did so in an Olympic record. She is Olympic champion for a second cycle running, defending her title won in Rio. And 10.61, the fastest time ever registered by any woman who's still drawing breath anywhere in this world. Just consider that for a moment, and then you'd get a full scale of the achievement delivered by this woman from Jamaica. Anil Roberts has joined the party. Anil, I hope you're hearing me loud and clear. And I wanted to put it to you this way, Anil. I want to put it to you this way. As a coach of repute and a coach who's a student of not just his core sport, but several other sports. What is significant to me about this, again, Anil Roberts, is this. All 3 of these Jamaican women did not spend not even a day learning how to sprint at a college overseas. No foreign coach, no foreign system had anything to do with their success. They are as organic can be, produced in Jamaica, in the Caribbean. I think that that is a significant accomplishment when measured against what we've seen from medalists in the Caribbean across various islands in the past. I think it's deserving of commendation and acknowledgement.
Well said. I could not have said it better. It starts with the belief that we are intelligent, creative, and brilliant, that we can manage, we can understand the physiology, the psychology, we can implement, we can plan, we are disciplined. It goes way back to the days of why we kept our black and brown people down. Anytime you heard a description from the developed world about the talents, whether it's in the steel pan, the reggae, the music, the art, the sport, the sprinting, the adjectives that you would hear is natural, ability, genius, hereditary, genetics, in music. We never heard the descriptions of scientific, disciplined, constructive, thought out, tactical, technical, brilliant, creative. Jamaica's coaches have shown the world that we can take our talent and put the developed world science on it. When they described our cricketers of the 70s and early 80s, it was always fast, wielding, rhythmic. They forgot to stay mentally tough, disciplined, focused, strategic, tactical, motivating, and beat you down and keep you down. Jamaican coaches are showing us other coaches what we can do. So long we've just thought that what speaks with an accent is better than us. What looks different and what looks like what used to be on TV is better than us. We can chart our future and our destiny, and our coaches have shown it. Jamaica, you try to diversify the economy. Jamaica has diversified sprinting. You have Sharika Jackson coming from 400 down to 100. You have Mama Rocket, shoots out 60 meters, brilliant stride. And you have ELAINE Thompson, who's learned to start, to keep it close, and then shows you the speed and the brilliant. Three different athletes, 3 different styles of sprinting, diversification in sprinting.
Lance, Stephen Francis, I said something about him this morning in the aftermath of ELAINE Thompson-Herah's win, and we must revisit the topic of Stephen Francis here once again. Like yourself, he went to Wolmer's. You knew him from he was a high schooler, a brilliant student then, and he's translated that brilliance into track and field. I don't know how many times Stephen Francis is going to show us, Lance, that when he sets a program for an athlete, when he sets an athlete to a task and gives that athlete the benefit of his experience, it almost always comes up roses. It almost always comes up gold. Lance, we have to acknowledge in his living time, this man is a genius.
He is a genius. His performance as a coach has been phenomenal. And you made the good point just now, George, that when the MVP Track Club project started, it had happened at a time when pretty much all of the Jamaican athletes who had talent went overseas to scholarships in the U.S. collegiate system and then, you know, developed their talent from there. Some, I must add, went backwards and didn't elevate themselves. So the project to have athletes remain in Jamaica, to develop themselves to world standards and world-beating standards, pioneered by Stephen Francis and the MVP Club, is an example and an illustration that the coaching levels in Jamaica are second to none. And Stephen Francis and Glenn Mills have shown themselves as being the best sprint coaches in the world. Their results have shown that, and there is no praise too high for the work that they have put in here, and as such, the confidence that athletes place in them. Because when you listen to these athletes talk, Bolt talking about Mills, Fraser Price about Francis when she was with him, ELAINE as she continues to work under his guidance, they speak so highly of the trust and dependency that they themselves have in what the coaches tell them. So Stephen Francis just adds another feather in his cap here, and he continues to show that there isn't an equal at the moment as far as coaching is concerned globally when it comes to sprinters.
Yeah, we need to interview him about that cap of many feathers. Pauline Davis-Thompson, you're an award-winning coach. You know the power of motivation, the next generation coming through, pointing them to good examples to emulate. When you look at these 3 women, and you could go back cycles before and look at other Caribbean women who've excelled in the sprints, your job is perhaps easier to motivate the youngsters that, look, you can do it because we as a people, that's what we do. We win medals at major championships and we leave the world in our dust.
Precisely, George. The Caribbean, even before my time, we're talking back, Merlin Oddie, Grace Jackson, Donald Corey, all these great sprinters from the Caribbean. They did it before we came along, and all we did was the continuation of the sprinting, and definitely these younger athletes coming up now, they're able to be motivated by all of what we have done. They understand that when they step out there, that you are to be proud, first of all, to put on the colors of your country, whatever country it is from the Caribbean, colors you put on, you ought to be very proud. You must always emulate that. Keep your head high and understand that when the gun goes, your opportunity and your chances are just as good as the person next to you. Yeah, you come from the Caribbean, as they would say, you come from humble beginnings. But God put gifts all over the world. And He blessed this region immensely with such amazing gifts, whether it's academics, whether it's sports. This region, you know, in the Bahamas, we always say that God lives there because it's so beautiful. Yes. God lives in the Caribbean. He most certainly does.
Absolutely so. Aileen, just before I go to the break, I want to put it to you. I mean, you've tasted and been a part of gold at the very, very highest level in the sport. You have an outstanding career. But even with your career and what you achieved in the bag, what these ladies have achieved subsequent to your career ending, it adds luster and value to who you are as an Olympian and as a Jamaican. Those are facts.
Yeah, definitely, and it brings us so much pride because I'm like, you know, before us there was Merlene, and then my time, and we had Merlene with us when we won our Olympic gold medal, and to be able to like transition from there with Shelly, ELAINE, now Sharika's the younger one, and Brianna coming up, and the Clayton twins. You know, it's just amazing that we've paved the way for them, and it's a blessing that we are able to still create these phenomenal athletes. And based on this Olympics, man, we definitely will have a bunch of little Shelly, ELAINE, and Sharika and Merlene coming out of the woodworks, and I love that. And I think like what our athletic association out here needs to do is to make sure that we invest in the talents that we have, because we've lost so much talents because there's no financial support for the kids, and there's no one there backing them and push, especially when we go to college. The reason why a lot of them get lost is because after college you don't have that financial backing, so you have to get work. So I feel that our federation needs to invest more in like grassroots type stuff, the development of our kids, because if they don't, we're gonna start looking like the women will probably start looking like how the men looking right now, small pickings. Yeah. And we had so many talented young men who should have been like replacing Bolt and Johan. So I mean, it's just up to our federation to get their act together, definitely.
Excellent. Sprinting success, the gift that keeps on giving, not just from Jamaica, but from the entire Caribbean. We're a dangerous place when it comes to sprinting, especially among the women. And oh, how the sweet taste of success, I hope, will linger in the mouths of all several weeks and days after today's historic moment at the Tokyo Olympic Stadium. Here's your history maker, ladies and gentlemen, ELAINE Thompson-Herah. We break. Back with more after these. Yeah, and if the women served up spicy jerked chicken or any of the favorite national dishes anywhere around the Caribbean, the men, by comparison, in the 100 meters, like a bowl of cornmeal porridge, unsweetened. Not palatable at all, but it's what we have. Welcome back to Tokyo Prime, the evening edition, as we talk about the men in the 100 meters. Only 3 men from the Caribbean advancing from the first round heats, a measure of the poor state of male Caribbean sprinting at this point in time. They say life is about cycles, and there is no doubt that the male cycle of sprinting in the Caribbean collectively is at a rather low ebb. It is a down cycle in that regard. Let's look at what based on the performances this morning, ladies, we can talk about Johan Blake first, the Jamaican. Didn't look sharp in his heat, got a fair start, but by the time he engaged the drive phase, Aileen dropped the hammer. There wasn't much there, and he had to lean to take second in that heat.
His start, because he looked like he's been running side to side, and I've been noticing all year, so apparently his coach is not watching the same videos that we're watching. But I think if he looks like he's in somewhat better shape now, so I think if he execute properly, we should have him in the finals, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, you know. His confidence is back. He's back into beast mode, so hopefully that will definitely get him into the finals.
An opening round of 10.06 from Johan Blake right here. Pauline, were you impressed?
He's not the same Johan that we know from during the Usain Bolt era. He definitely is running a little different, but the fact is, I guess the most important thing is that he's back, and I guess he's working his way back to the top. And he was a little, it wasn't so hot this morning in the heats, but he's been there before, so he should know how to put it together and get himself back to where he needs to be. So I definitely won't count him out. Yeah. Because once you have been there, George, once you've been to the dance, you know what to do.
Yes, and he has bags of experience, Johan Blake. You can't fault him on that score, and he'll tell you that, look, the aim was to get out of the heat and into the next round, and I've accomplished that mission. Now it's back to re-engage and do something even better. Anil Roberts, you saw Johan Blake this morning. What are your thoughts?
Well, Johan Blake, he looked like everybody else. This is the worst 100 meters all across the board in the history of my watching Olympics in '76, where you had Crawford, Quarry, Borzov, you know, coming down fighting. In 1980, you even had Alan Wells and Borzov, '84. You had Carl Lewis, and Ben Johnson, Carl Lewis, 92, Christie, Atto Bolden, Frankie Fredericks, Donovan Bailey, 96, Obadele Thompson, Maurice Green, Atto Bolden in 2000. Then you had the Usain Bolt era. This race, anybody who lines up can win. Johan Blake looked like everyone else. He tried to come out of the drive pace. He stayed low down. He took about 21 meters before getting up. He thought he was in it. Try to gallery. In Trinidad, when we say gallery, it's like you're confident, you're good, you can relax and so on. But when you're not in form, you can't gallery. Because he tried to gallery and look around, and the Australian was well ahead of him. You know, ELAINE Thompson could gallery because she was flying. She was going at 43 kilometers per hour, pointing at an Olympic record. This men's field is terrible across the board. If you call a win, so very good. Trayvon Bromell had a mental blowout and a mental meltdown. He was trying to sprint with just using his arms. You have some of the other athletes who come through. The Chinese Su looks like he could win China's first ever 100 meters. It's an open field. Anybody running 990 will have a gold medal.
Wow, 990. That's how far the 100 meters field has fallen. Lance Whitaker is still there with us? I just saw a shot. Oh, okay, there you go. So I'm going back to the other Jamaican who has made it through to the next round, the ex-Calabar schoolboy oblique Seville. ELAINE, you liked his run, 10.04 his time.
I did, and I like his youthful enthusiasm. And I feel that because he's still like young, like a virgin to, can I say that word?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can.
So, so he's like enjoying it, and that's when you will compete to your best, because it's his first time, so he's enjoying it and he's having fun. And as long as he continues to have fun and enjoy the experience, I feel definitely he can pull off getting into the finals. And you don't know, he's young and hungry, so you never know. He might pull something off for us.
Pauline, former schoolboy star, he runs his personal best in his first ever run at the Olympics. It's going well so far.
He has no pressure. They have to worry about him, not him worrying about them. So basically, he's out there enjoying himself, and what he's so relaxed. What is going to happen when you're like that? No one really thinking about you, because they just think of you, oh, he's just a little boy, and you know, he's whatever. But obviously, based on his run, he looks like he's ready to do some damage. And if they're not careful, that schoolboy is probably gonna take a whole bunch of them down.
Yeah. Anil, out in lane 9, widest draw of all, so he had the luxury of looking across and seeing where he was relative to the field. The youngster did well oblique Seville, 10.04 to open.
Well, I'm impressed with him because of his age, his slight build. Remember, you cannot sprint your fastest 100 until you're fully mature. A man's strength at 24 is not a boy's strength. He looks small, he looks petite, he looks like he has a lot of development, a lot of increasing in his anaerobic capacity, his ATP, CP, his power, his leaping, his technique looks good. He's confident. He was out there in lane 9. I am more impressed with him than many of the others. So it's an open race. The only man who looks to have all the categories put together to get on the medal podium seems to be the Canadian DeGrasse. He came through in one of the later heats with a 990, looking good. He seems to be an athlete who will run not so well in every small competition for years. And once you turn on the bright lights, DeGrasse finds himself. So this young boy, Seville, if he continues like that, I think he should progress. He may sneak into the final. And whoever grabs a lane in the final, George, they have a chance to win.
Excellent. What about the Kititian, though? I almost said Mike Rogers. Jason Rogers, who also advanced. So very happy I am to see Jason move through from his heat. Here he was out in lane 8, busy in his sprinting and chasing the Chinese star. Well, the man on the inside, the inside, it was Sung Bing Cham towards the middle of the field, and the South African on the inside. But Jason Rogers, 10-1 going through. What do you make of his run, Adil? Adil, are you hearing me?
Yes. Well, once again, I thought you were going back. Yeah, if you're back to me, this again is absolutely brilliant. The Caribbean has many athletes, and it's all who's gonna get up now in the semifinals, coming up to grab a lane. The South African here looks fantastic. You got a guy from Italy called Jacobs. He ran 994. Very unorthodox, very stiff. Looks like he just came out of the gym in downtown Kingston or Port of Spain, where he was pumping up, looking to turn on and make the ladies say, wow. But he ran a 994 and looks to be a challenger for the medal. The ladies have saved Olympic track and field sprinting. I am very sorry for the men. The women have taken it. The globe is looking at the women. They're waiting for the women's 204 by 100. We're just glancing at this men's race just because we've become accustomed to. We've been, over the decades, we've been disrespecting women events. We think that women don't play basketball and soccer or football as good as the men, even though coach-wise, technical, tactically wise, they are better, they are more intelligent, they are more passionate in the game. The men here in track and field have always dominated, always had the focus. This men's field, I'm very sorry. I should eat some curry duck with dal while this is going on.
Just before we go to the break, I have to ask you to comment on Anna's perspective, ladies. He says, well, which I said this before the championship even started, this is the worst 100 meters crop right across the board I've seen in my lifetime, yeah? And he says in his lifetime as well, so it would be cover the lifetime of all three of us on this set. And he says, you know, people are just passing attention to the 100 meters for men and the men's sprints because it's all about the women. And I'm sure both of you would agree, Aileen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've never seen the men's 100 this scanty in a long time. Yeah. Never. No, never ever. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe we need a little more training or more confidence, or maybe the lack of lust and determination. Maybe you know, the ladies will rub off on them this year, so next year at World Championship we might see them coming through.
COVID times, we don't want too much close contact. Yes. Pauline, Annie Roberts says any man in this final has a chance of the gold medal. Is he right?
He's 100% right, George. I feel the same way. It's scanty.
Yeah.
I've just never seen nothing like this. This is the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the men at this level. They're not doing anything spectacular.
Nope, not at all. The men are in the shade. Let's look at the draw for the semifinals. We have the name semi-final 1 has Itsekiri from Nigeria, Prescott the Briton, Leo Tlela from South Africa, Johan Blake, Andre DeGrasse, Fred Curley the American, Jimmy Vico the veteran Frenchman, and Omroa from Kenya, widest of them all. So 1 Jamaican in this first semi-final. Then semi-final 2. Semi-final 2 has the other Jamaican in the oblique Seville. So Tortu in lane 2, Brumel the American, Seville in lane 4, Ogunode from Qatar, Browning from Australia, Adigoke from Nigeria, Hughes from Great Britain, and Maswanganye from South Africa. Then semi-final 3 will have the Kittishan in it. Yes, he's drawn in lane 2, Jason Rogers, Andre Camila from Brazil, Su from China, Jacobs from Italy, Baker from the United States, Simbini, the putative favorite from South Africa, is in lane 7, Yuja is in lane 8 from Great Britain, and Arthur Cisse from the Cote d'Ivoire is drawn widest of all out in lane 9. Make of it what you will. Our experts and our Olympic gold medalists are all agreed the poorest men's 100 meters field they can ever remember, perhaps in their lifetime. And Anil Roberts goes further. He says everybody with a ticket in this 100 meters men's final has a chance of winning the lottery. There'll be strong representation for the Caribbean in the next round of the women's 100 meters hurdles based on the opening heats. There is a satisfaction for some Jamaicans and a couple of Bahamians, beg your pardon, almost said Barbadians, Bahamians to be precise, going through to the next round. Alex Jordan was busy. She caught some post-race interviews and we share them with you now.
Yannick Thompson, second place in her heat, 12:74. What do you make of your performance today?
I don't think it was the cleanest race, but I'm glad I'm through the semifinals easily, so thank God.
You ran a 12:80 in 2019 in Doha. What's your ambition for this Olympic?
My ambition is just to take it rounds at a time. Hopefully I can be in the finals and then I'll just take it from there.
Last thing about the conditions, hot day, how's the track? Tell us a little bit.
I mean, it's hot, yes, and while we don't have any persons in the stands, it feels because the pictures of the seating, you think that there's people in there, so I mean, it's okay so far.
That's a good point. Thanks for talking to me.
No problem.
Tapper from Jamaica, personal best at the Olympics. Does it get better than that?
It doesn't. I just want to give God thanks and my team for the constant support. One round down, 2 to go, baby.
Megan, you're a tremendous athlete, almost represented Jamaica in gymnastics as well. You're glad you chose track and field?
Very. I'm so glad. Daddy, big up yourself.
What went so right in that race? You looked like you were flying.
I mean, I am executing the right way at the right time.
Best of luck next round.
Thank you so much.
Brittany Anderson, 12:67, qualifying 1 year heat. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, my first part of the race wasn't the best, but all I do was just keep the form and just try to finish and go to the semifinals.
You know, we're right beside the track and I was trying to keep my eyes on you. Looked like you knocked a hurdle.
Yeah.
You finished really well. Talk us through the race.
Well, the second hurdle, not the second hurdle, but as I said before, I tried to just keep the form and finish to go to the semifinals.
How are you feeling emotionally? Everything good?
Excited. My emotions are all over the place.
Well done. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Timor from the Bahamas, qualifying time, 13:04. How was the race?
It wasn't a well-executed race, but it is what it is. I'm grateful that I qualified for the next round, so just got to rest up and prepare for tomorrow.
What do you think went wrong? I saw you looking back.
I don't know. I really can't tell you. I got to look back at it tonight and see, but it is what it is. I made it to the second round, and that's all that matters.
That's right. Last question. How are you enjoying the conditions here in Tokyo in this Mondo track?
God, it's so hot. It is so hot and humid. I had my hair nicely fixed, but now it's all over the place. But you know, it's just a blessing to be here.
Still looking good. Congrats.
Thank you.
Jamaica, Miss Ed.
Seymour there from the Bahamas, not happy with a few things, but she won't be unhappy with the fact that she is through to the semifinals and has a chance to correct the mistakes that she felt blighted her performance in that opening round heat. The fact is that she has a chance to do better, and I'm sure she'll grab that with both hands. Pauline, Seymour's performance in the 100 hurdles first round, your assessment?
Like she mentioned in the interview, she didn't do as well as I thought she could do. George, she was a finalist in 2016 in Brazil. And as a matter of fact, the only reason she did not get a medal is because she hit that last hurdle. She looked like she's going to get a silver or a bronze at worst. And so now she's back, and I'm expecting for her to do some great things, but definitely based on the way she ran in the hurdles earlier, she didn't look as good. She looked a little shaky, a little off, but she knows what it takes to be there. She's been there before, so I'm expecting her to get it together.
Yeah. Aileen, there are no prizes or medals for looking awesome in the first round of any event, let alone a highly technical event such as the 100 hurdles. But there is there is a lot to work on. Many of the women will tell you that, well, I can fix this, I can fix that, I can fix the other. For the three Jamaicans who have progressed to the next round, talk to me about them in turn. Let's start with this woman in the shot, Brittany Anderson.
She looked really well. Like she clicked the second hurdle, but
she hit it hard. I thought she hit it hard.
Yeah, but she a Jamaican woman, sugar and spice. So I mean, you have to, in the race you can't panic, so you just have to brush it off. Because I mean, it's a part of hurdling. You're going to hit a hurdle. It's just that you can't let it change how. And I'm proud of how she held her composure and like finished strong. And I'm looking forward into seeing her compete in the semifinal. It looks like it's going to be really good.
Yannick Thompson?
Yannick she looks really well, good. And execution was very well. And the aim for her was to get to the finals. And she looked really well. And it's always good when you're like not in the crowd with everybody, because you tend to like execute and focus on everything that you need to do.
People just love Megan Tapper. There's a magnetism about the diminutive 100 hurdler, and she finished a clear second in her heat. What do you make of her opening performance?
She looks amazing. Like and the craziest thing is, like, she's the tiniest one in the field, and big up to her, whoever had her in gymnastic before hurdling, because those flips and all of that cool stuff is helping her.
Yes.
Yeah, and getting her over the hurdles. And she's an amazing young lady, and her personality just brightens your day, because she's never down on herself. She always finds room for improvement, and her confidence this year is amazing. Well, she's going to do well.
She ran in the same heat, Aileen, I was about to add, as the gold medal favorite Camacho Quinn. Really looks like she's packing a heavy punch on that inside lane, and you suspect that whoever beats her will win this 100 meters hurdles event. Anil Roberts, I'm taking it across to you. Camacho Quinn looked the part, really looked the part in the opening round heats. Talk to me about her and the three Jamaicans and one Bahamian who progressed to the semifinals of, and the two Bahamians are progressed, yes, but we only showed you one. So we're talking about Seymour and the three Jamaicans who progressed, and the other Bahamian who's also gone through. So two Bahamians, three Jamaicans through to the semifinal round, and the Camacho Quinn. I want you to run the rule over them for me.
Well, George, sometimes when you have an intelligent athlete, there are pros and there are cons. Seymour, in that interview with Alex Jordan, knows that she's not right. I can bet you, I don't know her personally, but I can tell you that I am sure that she is one brilliant student. Whatever she is studying, she's very intelligent. So she knows that all is not correct. So we as coaches sometimes have to get there with the intelligent athletes who are smarter than us and know what's wrong. We have a harder job to get them ready. Others who just want to listen and trust in you, you could tell them something and they will get going. This race is high quality. I am going to put down my dal and rice and curry duck and look at this, because this is a deep, high quality race. You have the world record holder Kendra Harrison, who's showing some weakness. We know that she had some mental issues handling pressure. The Jamaicans, Mighty Mouse, this little tapper must be the smallest, shortest thing I've ever seen. She's nearly as tall just as the hurdles, but she's super fast, super efficient, super technical, and it's a joy to watch. You also have the other Jamaicans, Anderson, who did a 12:67, world junior champion. She clipped the second hurdle and showed power, strength, poise. She guarded herself and continued to go down. And a lesser athlete would have crumbled, would have fallen down and maybe bruised all their shoulder. She showed greatness. Costa Rica has a chance with a beautiful athlete called Vargas, who ran 12:70, who looked good. Semper from Great Britain is very big, very strong, but looks very out of it. She looks a little bit too slow. The Puerto Rican Camacho Quinn, when you look at her hurdle, it's the element of perfection. If you want to teach someone to hurdle without saying a word, tell them, look at the Puerto Rican Camacho Quinn. She gets over the hurdles, and from her hips up, no movement whatsoever while her legs are going fast. These women are incredible, technical, brilliant, fast. Who's going to take it? I don't know, but it's competitive and it's deep. I'm going to watch all the women's races, and when the men 100 come, I may go in the bathroom and take a break.
You have to watch the men's hurdles, though.
Listen. I'm going back to Pauline Davis-Thompson because I don't want the fans and friends and family of Devin Charlton to think we're sleeping on her. She ran a strong race outside Yannick Thompson in that heat. Talk to me about Devin Charlton's first round performance, Pauline.
I thought Devin had a very good run. Devin has pedigree. Her father, David Charlton, was on the Bahamas 1984 Olympic team. So Devin has pedigree in her blood, and she's been having an amazing season. I am so proud of her, and to see the way that she's performing, I expect some great things to come from her.
All right, so the Caribbean playing 5 cards in the semifinals of the 100 meters hurdles. 2 from the Bahamas, Seymour and Charlton, and Anderson, Thompson, and Tapper from Jamaica. But they're against some women who look awesome, especially the Puerto Rican Camacho Quinn, who really looks a class apart already. We break here on Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. Back with more. Shots here of the 25-year-old Jamaican SHADAE Lawrence, ex of Colorado State University and Kansas State University. She was at the Rio Games in 2016, didn't land the implement far enough to progress to the final, but guess what? She's cracked the code at these Olympic Games. She has made it to the Olympic finals, and she has a chance to do even better for herself and her country. Welcome back to Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. Annie Roberts, I want to talk to you about SHADAE Lawrence's performance in the discus, a performance that produced an effort good enough to have her named among the finalists in the event.
SHADAE Lawrence, congratulations on qualifying for the final of the Olympics, 62.27 in your second throw.
That was cut by people like Cleopatra Burrell Brown in the shot put and in the hammer throw, Candace Scott. Trinidad and Tobago has been doing quite well over the years, and now Jamaica, not only the men, but in the women, getting into the final of the discus. Now, it was very interesting with the men. I will give the men, the Jamaicans, they had Dakers, and they were feeling that he was a chance for the medal. And I was thinking back to the 1994 World Swimming Championships in Rome, when the Chinese juggernaut, who had hired all of the East German coaches and had their secret program for drug in sport, and the Chinese were dominating female swimming, winning 12 out of 13 gold medals. Francisca van Amsik was the world record holder in the 200 meters freestyle. She, like Trayvon Bromell, had a slow swim and did not make the final. But there was a German in the final. The team got together. The German other athlete scratched. Francisca van Amsik went into the final in lane 8 and broke the world record and won the gold medal from there. I thought on the men's side, we may have seen some of that from Jamaica, but we didn't. But now we're seeing SHADAE Lawrence throwing 62 meters. And while the medals may be up at 65, you know, getting into the final, as we saw with Keshawn Walcott in 2012, that in the heats, in the prelims, athletes were throwing 88 meters. But then it came under pressure in the final, and Keshawn Walcott was able to win gold for the Caribbean, to win gold for the red, white, and black of Trinidad and Tobago with 84.58, 3.5 meters shorter than his rivals threw the day before. So she's in with a shot.
Absolutely so. That Keshawn Walcott moment, still one of my personal favorite moments at the Olympics, just because of how surprising it was. And for the celebration, Anil, that your pal, your countryman, Ian Winty Morris, performed, running outside and doing the aeroplane dance while we were live on air. The man ran out the studio because he was celebrating Keshawn Walcott's javelin gold medal at London 2012. SHADAE Lawrence spoke to Alex Jordan. This is what she said.
SHADAE Lawrence, congratulations on qualifying for the final of the Olympics, 62.27 in your second throw. Tell me how it was out there. It's a massive moment.
It felt good out there. I knew I could do it because I've been training really good. So I just knew once I get it together, then it would be good.
Tell me where that emotion is coming from.
Because it's been a long time coming. I knew I could do it, but you know, this is just the right time. Nothing happened before it's time, so I'm just really excited that I reached this milestone.
The whole region excited for you. I saw you lying out on the track looking up at the sky. You want to share those thoughts with us?
I was there because it's just me and God on this journey, and my family and my coach, and mostly God. I'm like, God, I just need you to take me through this, and to know that He did, it's just a wonderful feeling.
Finals, Missy.
Yeah? What was it?
Finals, Missy.
Finals, Missy.
One word to your family, to your fans in Jamaica, straight to camera.
I want to thank my mom, Arlene, for all the massages you gave me free. My brother, my sister, the USS track and field for giving me a home to train. I want to thank, big thank you to my coach for taking on this journey with me, and all my friends who support me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's SHADAE Lawrence. Yeah, her twin sister. She has a twin sister called SHADAE, and shouting out her mother Arlene for the support. What a beautiful moment, though, Aileen Bailey.
She is. She almost made Badman cry up on TV. Yeah. But I understand her emotion, and I'm truly proud that we're because people always say Jamaica only have sprinters. But this is like proof that we are versatile and we have people all across track and field and in the fields as well. And I'm just so happy for her, man. It's an amazing feeling to be pretty much the first. I mean, it's the first. Yeah, it's the first. She's the first. Yes. And that's creating history
Blazing
for yourself.
a trail.
Yeah, creating history for yourself and your country, and it's amazing.
Pauline, no attempts to bottle up the emotions. She let it out.
I am so excited for her. what she has accomplished is amazing, not just for her country, Jamaica, but for the entire Caribbean.
Yes.
There are a bunch of little girls watching right now and saying, that can be me in a few more years. And I'm a water baby, right? It don't take much for me to start to cry. She always made me cry because she was just so emotional. And she went and had a word with God. How awesome is that? She went and had a special moment with God, thanking Him for blessing her and allow her to achieve what she was able to achieve. That says something. She thanked her family, because a lot of people, when you see these athletes, not just them, they have a whole entourage behind them. They have their mommy, their daddy, their sister, their brothers, their coaches, their country that are supporting them. And so it's that whole entourage. And she took time out to say thank you. That is really special.
Absolutely. So, Anil Roberts, I deliberately asked you to comment before seeing the interview. She is a softie, SHADAE Lawrence, but already, she's an Olympic finalist.
And in Trinidad and Tobago, we also celebrate Portia's Warren, who got into the shot put final with a third throw of 1875, following in the footsteps of Cleopatra Boyle-Brown. So the Caribbean women are showing their power and their strength. SHADAE went to the United States to learn her craft. Down here in Trinidad and Tobago, we've been privileged to be blessed with a coach called Professor Mastrapa. He coached Keshawn Walcott. He identifies talent. He is brilliant. From one coach to the next, I've observed him, the way that he plans his workouts, his periodization, how he breaks down the throw into different aspects. Speed, coordination, power. People think that you just have to be big and strong. It's about coordination. It's about driving through. When you talk about ELAINE Thompson coming back from an Achilles injury, understand that speed comes through the toes, through the balls of the feet. The connection to the balls of the feet into the foot, into the rest of the powerful leg is that Achilles tendon. Orthopedic surgeons will tell you the hardest surgery to do properly to get to athletes to return to their previous performances is that surgery. The rehabilitation is painful and torturous. For ELAINE Thompson to overcome that, to run better than she ever ran before, looking fantastic, top speed at 90 meters is incredible. And whoever was a surgeon and a physiotherapist, we need to know, and we need to get all our athletes going there.
Hear you on that. What an advert for the sports scientists who helped Thompson Hera in that respect. Right, SHADAE Lawrence, discus final, and she has more in her locker, one suspects. Back with more after these. There's not much of her in terms of size, but there is a lot of her in terms of talent. Natoya Gould leading home her semi-final field in the 800 meters. And the word from the experts is that she does have a medal shot when the final is run in a couple days from now. Welcome back to Tokyo Prime, the evening edition, as we're going to talk about the women's 800 meters final and the men's 400 meters hurdles in this final segment of the show. And then I want to come back to you to start off, because Natoya Gould, we've spoken about her already at these games, saying that she looked very good in her first round heat. She looked good again in her semi-final heat. And when you compare her, though, to the other big guns who've qualified for this final, are you joining the chorus of those who say she has a medal shot?
I would like to tell you, maybe it's my background in swimming. I was not that talented. I had to work hard to beat talented people. The talented swimmers in Trinidad, Shastri, Robert Jabuko, coming Red Chipping up to George Bovell. But if I have to choose a sentimental favorite Caribbean athlete right now, it would have to be Natoya Gould. Because everything I tried to put into an athlete I see espoused in the performance, the focus, the humility, the talent, the fitness, the intelligence, the brilliance, and the longer race in Natoya Gould. I think that we have learned to win, and we are fast and sharp, and we've seen the best. Since 1968, we've been the best. We had McDonald Bailey back in 1952. But in the 800, the Caribbean has not stepped up yet. And I think Natoya Gould has all that it takes. And in this case, I am saying that she is the favorite. Now, I don't know when you turn on the bright lights, because the brighter the lights, athletes change. I hope that she has that final piece in the puzzle, that when it's the final and when she's right there with Ating Mu, that her coach and the strategy will be put in place. If I was coaching Natoya Gould, I'd say, girl, we go, we flow, stay out of trouble for the first 250 meters. Up the back stretch, coming around 300, you mash gas a little faster than you normally would. When you come into that home stretch, you let Mu come with you. You get separation. Only 3 or 4 athletes should cross the first 400 together. We're going to go out a little bit faster than normal. Make sure and breathe and relax. Yes, we're going fast. Slow your heart rate down. Give yourself oxygen, because we're going for the run of a lifetime. We're going to run Mu off her feet. We're going to make a heart pump. We're going to make those big, tall legs sting. So with 80 meters to go, Mu will have nothing left. And Gould will be coming down the road. Gould for gold for Jamaica. Gold for Jamaica. Gold for Jamaica.
Yeah, I've heard Haley. I've heard ELAINE talk about Gould already. Her Goulie is one of her favorite athletes at these games. Pauline, quickly, Natoya Gould facing a tough task, because the woman Ating Mu from the United States is as smooth as grease. Looked really awesome. But this Jamaican has high hopes. Are you expecting something big from her in the 800 meters final?
Most definitely, George. I am expecting something from Toya. The way she's running right now, you could see that she is at her best in terms of fitness, in terms of focus. And when you're fit and when you're focused, you can get a lot of things done. So I'm expecting for her to really push Mu in this 800-meter final, and I'm expecting for her to bring a medal home, back to home country of Jamaica and the Caribbean at large.
ELAINE, must I ask you if Natoya Gould is likely to win a medal?
I mean, she definitely is. Watching her from boys and girls champs, and how she always, she has that killer instinct, and for a little person, she have a whole heap of heart, man, and that is like the bread and butter of Jamaica, the heart. And Goulie, she's gonna go out there and she's gonna give it her best. But what I love now is that she's running a lot smarter than before, because before she would just gas and go out. But now she's running a lot smarter. She's more strategic. She goes out, set the pace, which is the good thing is that she's setting the pace. Mm-hmm. And once she set the pace, once you have control of the race, you definitely would be able to win. My thing is just make sure she does not get into a box.
Yeah.
The box we have to avoid.
No boxes.
No boxes.
No boxes at all. All right, 400 meters hurdles. I did say men, but let's talk about the women, though, because we saw Genevieve Russell in action. The Jamaicans unfortunate. 2 of their 400 hurdles women's sprinters disqualified for various reasons. Genevieve Russell in this heat, 54.81, second in heat 2. ELAINE, what did you make of this performance?
It's great for her, because she looked really controlled and chill and relaxed, and she took control of the race, made sure she wasn't overdoing anything, and the aim was to just get to the next round, and she looks amazing. I see great things for her in the semis, so I'm just sending out positive energy, because the hurdles are disrespectful, that she has a smooth race.
All right, let's hear what Genevieve Russell said to Alex Jordan after this performance.
A nice, comfortable race for you.
Yes, really enjoyed that came out here to be in the top 4, and I wanted to run that 50 as comfortable as possible. I had some mess up in the race, but I have a day to rest and a day to fix it.
I I saw you looking back and watching the replay. What did you notice?
I noticed that my 200, my 5th hurdle, I stuttered. On my 7th hurdle, I'm hesitating. So to make that finals, I have to be attacking those parts of the race to ensure a spot in the finals.
One quick word about the temperature.
It's good. It's really hot.
All right, so Geneva Russell there talking to Alex Jordan about her race and saying that, yeah, there are still technical things for her to tighten. What about Tia Adana? She also qualified from the first round heat from Barbados. She clocked 55.6 time, pardon, a season's best time for her. Second in Heat 4. And Anil, it's good to see the Bajans having an athlete who has made it out of their opening heat at these Olympic Games.
Smooth. She was consistent between the hurdles, keeping her strides between 8 and 9 strides, and then taking the hurdle in a fluent, well-managed method, coming down when the last 100 comes, and this 400 hurdles, when your legs are full of lactic acid, it's very difficult to hurdle. You not only have to get over with your forward momentum. When you land, you don't want to land on your heel. You want to land and lean forward. But if you lean too much forward, you're going to fall down. She was smooth. She was comfortable, 55.69. At the 300, she shut it down, and she shortened her strides. On the finish, though, in the last 60 meters, I would want to see her keep a stride length, keep it long and relaxed in the last 60 meters. She started to shorten and nearly stutter-stepped coming down, but she looks good. However, I'm very sorry, in this race, the medals, America can sing Star Spangled Banner because that McLaughlin is something of a phenom that we've never seen before. And Dalila Muhammad will come in also for silver. So I think the Caribbean, the Jamaican athlete, and the Barbadian will be fighting for bronze. We had Rhonda White of Jamaica. I'm not sure why she false started and got disqualified in a 400-meter hurdles. The start is not that critical. So a little nerves coming through there. You've got to stay comfortable. Nugent also looked very good. She qualified, but I think her form is a little, what would we say, forced. She's not flowing. She's not fit and sharp and ready. So she will have to improve tremendously to make it into the final.
All right, so Tia Adana Bell spoke with Alex Jordan, a case of when a Bajan met another Bajan in Tokyo.
Tia Adana Bell out of Barbados, great run, second in your heat, 55.7. Tell me about it.
I felt good. I couldn't tip at the last hurdle, so I gotta call my coach. She's gonna be mad. But I'm happy. I was having a rough year, so to make it to the semifinals is God's grace, man.
But Tia, another false start, back-to-back false starts in the heat. I know. How does that impact you?
It's part of the game. Gotta just shake it off and go again. It's part of it.
You know, obviously it's the Jamaicans who really dominate in sprint. What does it feel like to represent the 246 on this big stage?
Oh, that's that's the whole town. It's always an honor to represent Barbados and represent those that can't be here. It's good.
Shout them out straight down the camera.
Hey, what's going on, 246? Happy birthday to my daddy, Roger. Love you guys. Hi, mommy, and my squad is good. Thank you.
Thank you, Tia Adana. Well done.
Absolute box office there from Tia Adana Bell. We certainly wish her all the best as she lines up in the semifinals of the women's 400 meters hurdles. That's our time here on Tokyo Prime, the evening edition. We send you away with a reminder that the men's 100 meters final will be on in a few hours. And then Roberts won't be watching it, but we certainly will.